Hello, it's Sunday, December 3rd, and my rear 9,000 BTU mini split has stopped working. It still runs, but it won't cool. So first thing we're going to do is give this thing a good visual inspection to see if we see any leaks. And we're looking for like an oily spot. And it does look like it needs to be cleaned. Alright. I'm not seeing anything obvious. There's no oil dripping spots. Now when I installed this thing, I was like super meticulous. For those of you that know me, you would go, duh, yeah. But not only was I very cautious on how I did all my work, there's no joints in anywhere down the line on these refrigerant lines. It's one piece of copper from end to end. And they're not the copper lines that came with the unit because I needed to extend them slightly. So I don't see not an iota of leakage here. I think what I'll do now is go ahead and put my gauges on. And in order to do that, there's an adapter I have. It's from 3/8 to 1/4 inch, and that's going to get screwed on right underneath this cap. So I can take this cap off, and God, I don't remember. This is the valve here. I think the valve you float it in between, all the way in and out. Can't remember. Let me crack this and see if it leaks. Then I know I've got to mess with the valve, unless this one's got a Schrader valve like this has in it. Yeah, it's got a Schrader valve in it, but I can't go screwing. Yeah, where'd you go? I think I'll attach this to my manifold gauge set before I... Oh no, you can't, because this doesn't swivel. So you got to screw this on first, and then you screw the manifold gauge set on that. Okay, that was a little troubling. I screwed that on and it didn't leak at all during the process of attaching that. So now let's see if I can get this guy on there. One-handed, maybe not. Well, that's not a good sign. It's got basically nothing in it, which makes me believe we've had a sort of catastrophic failure. It's not a slow leak. Something broke, and it's probably up in the wall at the air handler unit. But dang. Alright, let me add some refrigerant and see if we can hear it leaking anywhere. Okay, so 410 is a mixture of different refrigerants. I don't remember all the details on it, but when you use this, you always let liquid come through and not gas, because when you have the container right side up, the other way around that I have it right now, you'll get the gas and you won't get equal amounts of the different gases. So first we're going to, everything is closed here. The valves, both valves are open there. Let's open the tank line. And we're going to open the low side line just for a bit. And now we're going to purge out this line. we can open that. We can let some refrigerant in the system. Just a little, because we are getting liquid here, so we need this liquid to vaporize as it's coming in. You know what I can do? Let me close the tank line. Sorry. Okay, that was weird. I don't know what happened there. Let's open up this line. Regulate what's going in here with this. And there's a little sight glass there. You can see maybe the liquid boiling as it goes through there. All right, so we got 100 in the system now. I don't hear anything down here. That forward one is running, so that's making it hard for me to hear anything. I should go shut that off. All right, I couldn't hear any hissing, so I just went and turned it on, and our pressure's gotten way too low. Let's see, 410. Alright, so the pressure's in the blue over here. Yeah, a little bit more while I'm talking. And just give it a little crack and shut it off. Let's do that some. It's tight. Okay. So that pink band is your temperature for our 410A, and we want that to be around 40, so a little over 100 psi if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is still cold and flowing. There's still liquid in the gauge there. I don't know if you can see that. Vaporizing. That's why this is cold right here still. We're going to just sit here and wait for that to continue to vaporize. Let me close this and see how it comes down. Right, that's because we're still vaporizing here. It's like it's still adding, and this is closed. Everything is closed right now, except the service line going to the low side of the refrigerant unit. So on these mini splits, there's no high side fitting out here, which is unfortunate because it'd be nice to see where the high side is. Everything outside the unit is the low side. The expansion valve is inside here. And even though there's a large and a small line here, yeah, look at that, we're icing up right there. So that's an indication that we're low on refrigerant. It should be like this one was, just wet. Yeah, see, we're dropping too low, we're at 0 degrees. We're still, this is getting ice cold here now. There are devices that you can buy to vaporize the coolant. Let me come out from under the bus here. This is what I'm gonna do, is put this in the sun so it'll heat up, and just wait a little bit, because as soon as this heats up, it'll cause that to boil and vaporize completely. see what happens here. If I close this for a moment, this one. See, it goes down some. That's because it's still vaporizing in here. All right, it's amazing the tiny bit of refrigerant I added. I haven't added any more since the first couple of cracks that I did with this guy, and we are sitting at about 30 degrees, which is still low, but we're pulling plenty of heat out. There's a lot of hot air coming off of this thing. I was actually hanging my manifold gauge right here for the heat to heat this thing up, and I think now it's time to add a little bit more juice. Let's see here. There. Because there was no liquid showing in here. It stopped boiling a little while ago. I don't see any in there now. Let's try that again. Ideally, we want about 40 degrees here. There's the pressure and temperature charts that you can look at. We're just going to go really slow and easy on this. Still no liquid in there anymore. I guess I kind of over flooded it the first time I gassed it. Yeah, now it's showing some liquid boiling away slowly. All right, we're just going to keep doing that. Oh shit, this one was sideways, wasn't it? Okay, we're approaching what looks like normalcy here. There's no ice buildup anymore. They're just cold and sweaty, which is good. Compressor sounds normal, like it's running on high. Got the thermostat set at 72, so it is working hard. Okay, we're at 118 psi, which is right at 40 degrees on the pink scale. All right, so we're right at 40 degrees, a little above. That's cool, because it's 79 degrees in here, and we're calling for 72, so it's working pretty hard. So let me show you the chart now. This is the pressure temperature chart. So we've got multiple temperatures, input and output temperatures. I don't have a temperature probe to check the refrigerant lines, but if you did, you would read that temperature, and these would be the appropriate pressures to have at whatever this temperature is at the air handler. So I'm pretty sure that's what we're looking at. You know, 116, 125, somewhere around there. You know, if we were a little bit cooler, the pressures go down. So we're around 75 degrees in here, right? So 119 would be the appropriate pressure to have. You know, 119, 124, somewhere in that range with these temperatures. Like I said, I don't have the temperature probes, so we're just winging it. And I say we're done, and we're just gonna let this thing run. And if it lasts for 6 months or a year, then we'll just say that it's a tiny leak. If it lasts for a week, we know we got a serious problem, and we'll have to dismount that thing, or at least take the inspection cover off the bottom, which is kind of a big job, and see if there's a loose line. I said earlier that you'd see an oil stain. You probably don't see oil stains because all the refrigerant lines on these mini splits, they're all on the low side and it's all vapor. So I don't think you get much oil staining. But I guess we could do a soapy water bubble check. All right, we're still doing our due diligence here. We did the soap and water bubble test. I also tried to tighten these two, and they're both completely tight and won't budge. So we've got no signs of a leak here. And I can't see any leaks anywhere around here. I don't have a leak detector, which would be rather expensive. And there's no fluorescent dye in this system, so we're just gonna let it ride and see how long it lasts. Well, good morning. Is it still morning? Yeah, it's a little after 11 in the morning. It's December 4th, Monday. Happy birthday to my bride. Okay, so the air conditioner refrigerant leak showed itself last night. The leak is inside. Around 11 o'clock last night, it let go, and the entire inside of the bus was completely a fog with refrigerant. So if we're lucky, it's going to be a connection behind the air handler unit here. If we're not, we'll probably be buying a whole new air conditioner. So in order to get access, which I do have access, which is a good news, I need to take off this boxed in area right there, and the same here, and then there's a piece of plywood on the bottom that I can remove, and I'll be able to see the entire back side of this thing. It's not that bad. I've done this a couple times already. So let's get at it. Okay, that took me about a half an hour. That wasn't bad. So I got the whole bottom piece open, and this is the board that came off the bottom. So I think this is, it's not oily or anything. I think this is from melting ice and condensation, because it was dripping water on me. I guess she was icing up a little bit in the last few days that it would actually work. So I'm gonna undo all that and see what I could see under there. I might just be removing this thing. Well, that doesn't look so good, does it? I guess that's a piece of steel wrapped around the copper. It's all rusted. I don't know what that's all about. All right, so let's do the bubble leak test here, I guess. Well, I'm a little bit confused because I'm doing the soap bubble check here, and I'm not seeing any leaks at the lines. And I wish I should have done this first. I went out to hook up the gauges, and let me show you. I got almost 250 psi. It's not running, but from the amount of gas that I saw in the bus last night, you'd think that thing was empty. I'm wondering if I didn't even have a problem with the air conditioner. I'm gonna feel really silly if oh my gosh. So I'm pretty sure last night it was refrigerant that was all over the place. Maybe the chassis air conditioner just sprung a leak. So I'm gonna give this thing a crank because it was blowing cold yesterday. Let's see. That would be funny. Funny. Not so funny. Because fixing this thing will be a real pain. Well, we're blowing cold here, so it's hard to figure out what's going on. It's got to be that one. let's I guess we'll turn this one on now and see what's going on with it. I just assumed it was not going to work at all, and it was completely empty by the amount of gas that was. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like a foggy day in London in here last night. So much that the fire alarm went off from all this, what looked like smoke in here. Okay. Now I'm really confused. I didn't think about turning this thing on. I just assumed that it's working perfectly. Pressure is just about right. I mean, I just turned it on, but it's blowing cold. I mean, it was at, I forget what pressure I said. It's like, what could have possibly else have gassed up my whole bus? I don't know. Well, it is running a little low. I'd suspect it would be over 40 with the door open. I'm just gonna let it ride for a while, man. Well, it looks like the AC let go again. I thought we were gonna be lucky and have it just work. I guess it's coming. I can't tell where it's coming from. That's the problem. I mean, this air conditioner here was working just perfectly fine a little while ago. It said it's 78 and it's 75 in here, so it, yeah, I don't know if it's this air conditioner leaking or that air conditioner leaking. I just can't tell. So it looks really foggy up on that end. I can't tell the difference.